What's going on, my friends? Here we are, another Thursday night on the grind. Let's just wait a minute and see who all we can get on here watching. My phone should be blowing up any minute now. It always does. As usual, wherever you're watching from, please leave comments where you're at, where you're watching from. If you're watching on the grind page or the YouTube channel, or you're watching on the American Drag Seats page, whatever, just leave a comment. What's up, Uncle Bruno? What's up, Marcia? What's up, Scott Dye? Good to see y'all in the house. What's up, Mr. Jeremy Goheen? Man, those parts you're making, buddy, you're looking good, dude. I might want to get with you on making me a part or two or three. But anyway, like I said before, if you are watching live, please leave a comment of where you're watching from. What's up, Dan, Mr. Smooth, going on? Platforms, all the platforms. Hey, Janice, get with me. I will. Marcia Fitzpatrick again. Oh, here we go. It's going to start clinging. I don't want to do that. What's up, Pat Price? What's happening? All right. Well, let me get my night started up here real quick. Our first sponsor of the show. He said the toilet. Oh my God. TMI, bro. TMI. Yo, Mr. Logan Black. What's happening? So first up tonight's our good friends over at Hopkins Design, Hopkins-Design. Man, y'all see some of the posts he's been making. I've been sharing them up. Man, website stuff, trade show stuff. This guy can do anything, man. Business cards. He can do websites, drone footage, video footage. He can design logos. He can do whatever you want for your company. Get with Earl at Hopkins Design and let him know Kevin with the grind sent ya. Next up, our good friends over at Urban Rides Magazine and Street Bagger Magazine. Established in 2019, the two hottest magazines out there, whether you got cars, trucks, vans, baggers, choppers, doesn't matter. They do it all, man. You can reach them at urbanridesmagazine.com to get you an online subscription, or you can get one in print and they will mail it to you. But whatever you do, when you get with them, go check them out on Facebook at Urban Rides Magazine on Facebook and urbanridesmagazine.com and let them know Kevin with the grind sent you. What's up, Justin Baldwin? Next up is our good friends at J&D Custom Polishing and Plating. Man, it's on the screen. We plate copper, nickel, chrome, silver, 24 karat gold, dent removal, straightening and polishing of stainless steel and aluminum trim, zinc, die cast, pot metal repair, and restoration is their specialties. Over 60 years of experience, committed to quality service from start to finish, and award-winning workmanship. You need chrome, you need any of that stuff done, you need to get with J&D Custom Polishing and Plating. When you do, let them know Kevin with the grind sent you. Next up, our good friends over at Stellar Customs, stellarcustoms.com. Real carbon fiber windshields. That's just the nuts and bolts of it. Real carbon fiber windshields in all kinds of patterns and designs and colors for your street glides and your road glides. You need to get with them at stellarcustoms.com. Place an order and let them know Kevin with the grind sent you. Next up, our good friends over at Indiana and Northern Illinois Thunder Roads Magazine. Another great magazine up in Indiana and Northern Illinois. You got to go check them out. They have got so much stuff in those magazines. Get by one of the local shops, pick you up a copy, and let them know when you get to that shop, hey, man, I heard about Kevin at the grind, told me to come over here and get this. Let them know. Next up, American Drag Seats. AmericanDragSeats.com, home of the integrated airbag. You need an airbag for your bike? It makes a difference. Beats the hell out of gel, stagnant materials. Beats the hell out of memory foam stuff. Beats the hell out of that. Airbags, the way to go. Get with AmericanDragSeats.com. Send us an email, give us a phone call, send us a message on Facebook at American Drag Seats /Attitude Inc., and we will get you hooked up. Next up, our good friends over at hellspeedshop.com. Some of the most badass flannel shirts you could ever think of. Custom t-shirts, hats. They got all kinds of stuff over there. Go to hellspeedshop.com, look for the Grind logo, and save yourself a little bit of scratch. Next up is Legacy Bike Works. Legacy Bike Works right here in Manville, Texas. Audio upgrades, custom audio, custom bike builds, custom fiberglass work, custom metal work. Mild to wild, we do it all. Choppers, bobbers, baggers, you name it, we do it. Legacy Bike Works on Facebook, Legacy Bike Works on Instagram, and of course, Legacy Bike Works right here in Manville, Texas. What's happening, everybody? Let me get back in here in a little bit and say hi to everybody. Logan Black. Oh, Janice Juban, Justin Baldwin, Brian Barber, Adrian Drake Meadows, Mr. Disturbing the Peace himself, Nancy Weems, Alex Toth, Mr. Peter Orlando, good to have you back. Gerard Lefrancois, that's Michelle's daddy. Ryan Trammell, he said, what's the topic for tonight? So, man, I'm going to tell you guys something, and I'm not trying to start a shitstorm, but I'm going to show you guys something because it's becoming such an issue, and I'm very passionate about it, and I'm sure the big shops and the heavyweights out there and all the audio competition people, I'm positive they hate me. I'm not bagging on their shows. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just saying, man, I want to show you guys something I got sent from Kimberly Hill. She told me to go to their website and check it out. So I asked Kimberly Hill, what is the rules for their sound show, Sound Bullies? So I went online and I got this right here, the 2023 Sound Bullies Audio Competition Classes and Rules. Now I need to show y'all something. That's the first. So here's the page. I mean, this is a lot. I got to figure out how I got to do this. Okay, so I'm gonna do it like this right here, so you can see. It's just, I want you guys to just look at this. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 pages of rules. But there's so much to this that I would never be able to keep up with it. I just wouldn't. And I'm not, and let me be real clear when I say this, because I don't want Joey Hensley, I don't want Kimberly, I don't want Ricky Will, I don't want anybody calling me and saying, man, what the fuck, dude, why are you calling us out? I'm not calling them out. What I'm saying is that I plan on going to everybody's show and getting their rules. Because when you do a stereo competition, if you don't know the rules, you can lose because you're breaking a rule or you're not in a right class. There's so much to it that it's almost impossible for the average everyday guy that pays a shop like ours. Hey man, I want a little banger. I want to be able to compete though. Okay, well, how do you want to compete? You got 2 speaker, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 8, 20, blah, 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 blah. Depending on where you're at and where you plan on competing at, you better know their rules because they're different. Every show, Sound Bullies, Sound Wars, Banger, God, what's Ricky Will's? The SOS, I think it was called. They all have different rules and different categories the way they do it. And you guys heard me a couple weeks ago. I was talking about Keith Barker's show right here. Here's his classes: 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, and up. $20 grudge match after the class match. He said it real clear. I talked to him. The whole deal with his show is it doesn't matter what you've got. You've got 2 speakers against 2 speakers, 4 against 4, 6 against 6, 8 against 8, 10 against 10, 13 and up. Okay. He simplified it so that average everyday people can get in there and run it and do what they do. But it's on a phone, so it's probably less pages. Okay, I agree. But I had to screenshot them, and it took 17 screenshots on one website, because you could scroll down on a website. But my point is if you read in some of it, you read that, like the tweeters, only certain tweeters can be used. And again, I don't know if they counted the tweeters as speakers or not, because in one of them it said the tweeters are not counted as speakers, but in another one it's giving you a rule of what kind of tweeters you can use. I don't get it. My whole point is that it's very taxing on a simple man's brain to be able to say, hey, I want to go into a shop, I want to spend X amount of dollars, I want a banging system, and I want to be able to compete. Well, dude, first of all, I have to know where you're competing. That's the first thing. That's the first thing out of my mouth. I need to know, where do you want to compete with that bike? Texas, East Coast, West Coast. You need to know that first. Then you need to find out, okay, how many speakers do you want? Do you want subs? Okay, once you get all those parameters figured out, then at that point, then you can give the customer a real good idea of what it's going to cost to get their shit done. Because I'll tell you what, when you get it done and you go in and compete, like everybody says, 6 months later, which I won't even say 6 months, I'll say in one season. By the end of that season, you better be getting you some more equipment, because everybody's saying this equipment evolves so fast and it's so hard to keep up with. So the way I look at this stuff is, if you're going to have time, if you're going to invest your money into something, you need to know, are you going to compete or are you going to just enjoy? Because me personally, I'm going to have to compete, whether I win, lose, draw, or whatever, which I don't even know if there are draws in this thing. I am going to compete, but I'm going to expect to lose, because I can't keep up with all the trends, and I'm not willing to give up my bike because I want to ride my bike. But I do know one is a true fact, and you can ask any person across the country. You have bikes that you compete with to get attention. You also have bikes you parking lot pimp with to get customers. Because I'm starting to notice a trend is that the different shows across the country, you have basically the same players going into those competitions. Now, it's not 100% people, so don't get all pissed off and start canceling me online because you think I'm lying. What I'm saying is that, like in Texas, you've got certain people that compete, and that's what they do. They're competitions. They're competitors. That's what they build it for. They do it to compete. So those guys are going to be investing into making that system the best it can be that day. If they get whooped that day, they do go back to their shops. They either retune, replace equipment, but they stay within the speaker categories they're in, but they change. And then they go back out and try to beat them the next time, just like drag racing, because everybody is getting this stuff, mixing it up with drag racing. You know, you've got big wheels and you've got small wheels. You got fat tires, you got small. My whole point is that it all breaks down to the driver also. So when you do these things with cars like that, here and again, you got different classes. Okay. You got the guys on the weekends, they got 12, 1,500 horsepower, literally in a daily driver. And then you've got competition cars that have 6, 7, 800 horsepower with 400 shot of nitrous that they only run at the track. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do, and you're going to spend your money for what you want to spend your money on. But what I would like to see happen, I would like to see the 4 major stereo competition groups get together and come up with one set of rules that they can push all over the country, because I think they would get more um, entrants and participants if they all had the same exact criteria. Um, I know I keep talking about this stuff because I'm the guy that likes to go watch. I like to see what the guys are doing. But when you talk to the big shops, and the big shops are like, yeah, the bike I built last year, man, I can't take that and compete this year unless I want to just completely redo the bike, redo this, redo that, more amps, more batteries, more speakers, more whatever. They would literally have to upgrade their bikes every single season to compete and stay competitive. Um, as sure as shit I say that, there's going to be someone out there that's going to scream and yell and say, well, I haven't changed mine. I'm still running motherfuckers over with the same shit I've had for the last 2 or 3 seasons. Okay, cool. I get you. I get it. Okay, you built something so crazy. I get it. I get it. You're the one. All right. No big deal. No harm, no foul. All I'm saying is, at the end of the day, when you build this stuff and you're actually wanting to compete with your stuff, because I also feel like there's a lot of people out there that have bikes built, put all this massive stereo systems in them, and they're not doing it to compete. But the guy that built it says, hey man, that's a pretty badass system. Why don't you go over here? They're having this show this weekend and you can compete. That person that didn't want to build the bike to compete with the bike now is competing with the bike, and now it's on. It's like, hey, all right, we got to upgrade. We got to go here. We got to go do this. We got to. So it's something that happens. Mary Beth Barker said, only options you have now is to let her paint your bike now. Baby legs, kiss my ass. But I will say this: you two are impressing the shit out of me with y'all's. Never mind, y'all are just impressing me. That's it. And thank you for the t-shirt. I appreciate that. Devin appreciates it too. But yeah, you dick, you made me change up my whole goddamn paint job. But thank you. I'm glad you did it. I'm glad you stepped out of the box. I am glad you did what you did and you put it out there. And Keith Barker and Mary Beth Barker, you guys are kicking ass, taking names. Don't let anybody shut you up, stifle you, or put you down. I'll tell you what, I am very proud of you two. I think y'all are kicking ass, and I think you're stepping your game up. So hats off to you two. But yeah, you made me change my paint scheme. But anyway, so back to the stereo competitions. So there's always going to be people out there that are going to hate on it. Always going to be people. I'm sorry, I've got to read this. You better be ready to spend some money and keep spending money if you're going to keep up in the bike audio game, sir. That's an endless money pit, sir. Yes, see, Keith said it right there. If you're going to compete, you're going to always have to compete. You're going to always have to spend money, upgrade, do this, do that, do the other. Yes, I'm going to compete. But I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to use the bike to sell jobs. I'm going to use it as an advertisement. Um, oh shit, Munir is in the house. What's up, Moo? I'd like to bring you on here, Moo, if you got a minute. Say yes or say no. I'll send you a message right now because you're somebody that has a lot of history in this game, and I'd like to talk to you about it. You down to come on, Moo? When did this turn into a damn audio show every Thursday? Did you start an audio shop or a bike shop? Yo, okay, I'm gonna send you a link right now. Let's see, right? Oh shit, right there. All right, I got it. I got it. I got it. Let's search it up. Okay, everybody, I sent Munir a invite to come on here. He said? He said I can't. I'm at work. Well, shit, no big deal. No, it's not an audio show, but I wanted to bring it up because hope the kids are in bed when they're about to come on live. No, he can't. He's at work, but that's all right. So, I just had an idea. I just had an idea. What the hell? Okay, I'm back. All right, anyway, so no, this is not a audio show, but the reason I'm saying this is because I know in Houston there are shops that do audio. And every single one of those shops that do audio has gotten called out for doing shitty wiring. Even us, and we just started, has gotten called out for doing a badass job. It has been to competitions and won, including me. But at the end of the day, it's just like even we together can't get along well enough to make this what I think it could be and what it should be. Y'all heard me talk last week about, Billy Lane said that, there's never going to be any more rock star shops because of the internet, because everybody posts things on the internet and you can't see it. And like I said last week, I don't agree with that, because when Billy Lane and all those guys were on TV doing the biker build offs, okay, there was no internet. Well, there was an internet, but there were no social media platforms other than MySpace. So they weren't able to unveil the bikes. But you had people going to these actual bike shows and stuff looking for those builders because they saw those builders on TV, whether it was one Thursday night a month or whatever it was. I still believe that this generation, this time frame, can still have what I call rock star builders. All they are the face of the industry. I just don't think there's a good enough promoter out there to promote, hey, these are bike rallies. Bike rallies are more than audio shows and bike shows. People come to bike rallies for the culture. They come to the bike rallies to meet builders. They come to the bike rallies to show what they did. But there's no more builders setting up. You have all of the parts distributors setting up. You may have some little places here and there and whatnot. And yes, it is hot as shit in my office up here. It's 90 degrees inside this office because it's so hot outside. My the air conditioning up here is just, it's working overtime and it's just not working right. I'm assuming Dan Juban, you're telling me really. Anyway, so my whole point is that I think there needs to be, at every show across the country, there's got to be somebody, a promoter there, that promotes the builders, the actual builders themselves, not promoting a bike show, not promoting a stereo competition, but there's got to be a promoter out there that's willing to promote the builders. But the bad thing is you got to get the builders behind you and say, hey, if you get us down there and at least get us a spot, we will show up and do the rest. I would agree, Shy South are rock stars, but those guys, y'all are crazy if y'all don't follow format with Shy South. Shy South is doing things, in my personal opinion, they're doing it the right way. They are making massive moves in this industry, and you don't even see it. But I know they are, so I'm just telling you. But anyway, back to what I was saying is that you can't go to rallies anymore that I've seen, and you can't go around and see the builders, because the builders aren't having booths anymore. They're not displaying their bikes anymore. I mean, I can't tell you the last time I saw Eric Contreras in Powerhouse set up at a rally. I just can't. I know he used to. I can't tell you the last time I saw shit. I'm not dropping anybody else's names. I'm just saying I can't tell you the last time I actually saw a builder's row where there were builder after builder after builder after builder. And, everybody would walk around and, take pictures with the builders, buy their T-shirts, their hats, their merchandise, take pictures with their bikes. You just don't have it anymore. And I think that is one of the biggest things That is one of the biggest things that we need back in this industry. And Keith, if you ain't bullshitting, I can make that shit happen, homie. If you're not playing, if you're serious, I can make that happen. Uh, I'm ready for the biker build offs to come back. I'm ready to get what I would consider the second generation of the biker build offs going and get it done. What's up, Mr. Lease? Hope you're doing well, brother. Uh, I get a lot of flack for a lot of shit, but one thing I will tell you, he said, let's get it, homie. Okay. All right, then. I'm going to just assume that you're going to be bringing a bagger. That's what I'm going to assume. We are trying to bring it back. Dan, I have to almost exclude you from everything I'm doing because you're right. 100%. I wish I had the 100 and the little noisemaker and shit because you're right. Dan Juban is actually doing things to bring this shit back. I woke up this morning, so that's a good thing. Amen, brother. Amen. Um, but it's kind of, in my opinion, it's getting, man, I don't want to use the wrong word here. It's just getting to the point. It's almost like, I'm not going to the rally. It's the same bullshit I see all the time. Which I started going to rallies. My very first rally was in 2004. That was my very first rally. And I've told everybody on this show what my first ever motorcycle rally was. Can anybody tell me what the first rally I ever went to was and where it was at, what it was called and where it was at? I'll give you all a minute to figure that out. If not, I'll tell you in just a second. But anyway, I remember going to the rallies and getting excited to see these builders that you would see in the magazines, or possibly looking for the Tuttles, or looking for Jesse James, or looking for some of the, just builders. Because every time you'd stop at a booth, even if it was a no-name builder, you really got to sit there, talk to the builders. You got to look at their bikes. I mean, hopefully they had T-shirts and hats and stuff. I mean, for fuck's sakes, Brian Barber used to set up all the time, and he tells me stories of all of the stuff that they used to do. Um, and I miss it, the industry parties. I can't tell you how many times I got to party with Joe Martin, Matt Hotch, uh, Paul Cox. I got to party with Billy Lane. Um, it was just really cool to do that stuff in 04, 05, 06. And I don't think I'm anybody because I'm still nobody in this industry. But back then, I had somebody on my team, somebody in my corner that helped me get in front of all of those big builders, go to the industry parties and all those things. What's up, Jamie? It's good to see you. Uh, like the Cincinnati Dealer Show, in Cincinnati, Ohio. I got to go to that show and hang out with some of the coolest builders. That's where I met Frank Stancato from Death Row Motorcycles in Drums, Pennsylvania. Great guy, great builder. He knows what I'm talking about. It was just a different time, and it was a better time, in my opinion. I wish it were that way now. Don't believe Brian Barber. He's a painter. None of them tell the truth. Oh my God, you just want to start some shit tonight. But anyway, my whole point is that I'd like to see it get back to that, but it's going to take a commitment from builders. It's going to take a commitment from the shows. It's going to take a commitment from a promoter to actually make these things happen. Woodrow said, it's over. Got to realize that it's an Amazon buyer's market now. I disagree with that. He goes, you need to start with a hobbyist show. A hobbyist show. Tim, you and me are going to argue that point till the day I'm dead or the day you're dead because you're not a hobbyist. You claim to be a hobbyist, but you're a badass. So stop it. Stop it right now. That's silly. You're silly. That's it. You're silly. Uh, Mr. Timothy Skates. Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway, I would like to see those things come back. I don't think it would be too hard, but you got to get with like it. I would do something in Galveston and try to work it. People don't like me because I tell the truth. Carb like that would be great to get started. Yes, Carl, it would. Um, the bad thing is that you got to get with some of these shows, and there's got to be something. Well, I know the owner via someone else. I know the owner of the Lone Star Rally in Galveston. I will be talking to her and trying to figure out how can we get it back to the next one. How can we get it back to the way that it used to be, where people came to see builders? The builders were the draw. They were not the entertainment, but they were the attraction. Um, there's a lot of cool builders out here right now. I don't think social media killed it. I think what killed it, honestly, if you want the truth, I think what killed it was the economy in 2008. I think that's what actually killed it, because in '07, I remember going to the Lone Star Rally. I remember going to the Republic of Texas Rally. And what was the third rally I went to? I forget what it was called. But anyway, I remember going to those rallies, and you would see all the big builders there. Matt Hotch would come in from California. You had Jesse Rook would come in. I mean, you had big builders coming in and setting up. I mean, I remember them. I remember seeing it. But I think in 2008, when the housing market crashed and then the economy crashed, I think a lot of these rallies were struggling, and you know, they weren't getting the attendance that they wanted, and the bike builders weren't going because they weren't getting paid to be there, or they weren't at least getting comped a spot as an attraction, and it just cost so much money to go to the rallies that, no offense, I even me, I stopped putting up a booth. I want to say 2018 was the last time I put up a booth, because it just cost too much money. Now I have had a booth since then because of the biker build offs, but I haven't had an American Drag Seats booth. I've only had the grind booth. Yes, the economy killed. Nobody could afford to buy a custom bike. Um, well, I will say this: from 2008 through 2013, the rallies were still going. I've got pictures of going to the rallies, hanging out, having a good time. I couldn't tell the attendance was down. I could only tell that you didn't have the big builders there anymore. But the other thing is that even when you did have big builders there, I just think everybody gets big headed. And when you get big headed, you start, well, my time is too important. I don't have time for what I would consider the fans. Once you start being ungrateful for what you've got will go away. You have to stay humble, and you have to stay grateful. No matter how big, no matter how popular, you have to stay humble, and you have to stay appreciative and grateful to the people that buy your hats and buy your t-shirts. And back in the day, all the builders had a part that they sold. Matt Hotch had kickstands and gas caps, and Billy Lane had grips, gas caps. He had all kinds of stuff he was doing. Martin Brothers had exhaust systems. Jesse had fenders, frames, tanks, fenders, uh, exhaust. Everybody that built bikes had parts that they manufactured and they sold also. You don't have that anymore either. One thing I've noticed is a lot of the big builders, what I consider the parts manufacturers, they stop building bikes because they don't have time to even build their bikes, because they're keeping up with all of their parts demands. And to me personally, I miss that. I miss, the big guys doing it and then showing a brand new bike that they built because it was so cutting edge. It was badass. What did Brian say? Do you really want to know what killed it? The promoters. They used to pay us to come set up because we were the attraction. I've been saying that all night, Brian. When they started charging a stupid amount of money to come set up and bring bikes to their shows just to sell t-shirts and stand there all day to sign autographs, was a waste of time and made no money, while we had to shut the shop down and lose money. I agree 100%. I've been saying that exact same thing all night. Is that it happened because the economy fell down and the promoters just weren't doing it anymore. And, the promoters are the ones that are actually responsible for getting the rally owners to get behind the builders and realize the builders are the attractions. Like I've said it all night long. 100%, we have some people with big heads now. Laugh out loud, stay humble. Holstein Designs, more money in parts than building bikes. Holstein, I couldn't agree with you 1,000% more. There's no way I could not agree with you more. The money is not in building the bike. The money is in building the parts, or like I've been saying a long time too, coming up with a good logo, coming up with t-shirt designs, hat designs, and selling t-shirts and hats. People want what you have. People that have money want you to build them their bikes. Okay, not everybody can afford that bike, which is why audio, the audio game is so strong at rallies, because the average person's only going to get a 2 or a 4 speaker setup. I wonder what Warren would say on this. Jamie, I can almost guarantee you I know what Warren would say on this, because me and Warren are the ones that talked about this repeatedly, time after time after time. And when I told him that I was doing a biker build off and I'd love to have him in it, he was like, hell yes. He jumped in so fast it wasn't even funny, which I know he had the conversation with you. So you remember that. So I know that he would agree with this 100%, that, just like Brian said, the promoters were no longer able to get comped spots for the big builders to bring out their bikes, set up, and that's right, JB. But it falls back onto that. But what scares me right now is I know a lot of good builders. I know builders that have personalities. I know builders that have great apparel. If I could get behind those builders and say, hey, look, if I can get you a free spot, will you 100% jump in and come to Galveston and set up and do this? Will you do it? I'm too afraid that builders nowadays are just so jaded about them that they're like, nah, I can't guarantee you that I would do that, because it's still going to cost me so much money to get there, shut the shop down, and then, be at the booth all day. Plus, I still have to get somewhere to stay when I do this. It's a combo. 2008 plus not getting comp to go. Heat agree. Amen. 100. SSCP will. SSCP. I don't even. Oh, as soon as I say it's custom paint, will. You just can't bring your bike and not stay with it. I agree. But my whole point is, no offense, you can't blame Facebook, and you can't blame Instagram, and you can't blame TikTok, and you can't blame Twitter, and you can't blame these social media outlets for the reasons why you're never going to have rock stars again. The only thing you can blame is the shows themselves and the promoters. That's it, 100%. Because I'll tell you what, if the shows would get behind the promoters and the promoters would get behind the builders and make it work out, everything could be advertised so much bigger with free social media that you would have bigger turnouts. They would be awesome, so much more, because now you no longer need television. You don't need a TV 1 hour a week to advertise what you're doing. You've got social media to advertise every stinking day. Hey, we're going to be here. Hey, here is our list of events we're going to. Please come out, see us, check us out, come by, buy you some swag, things of that nature. You could do it. And the jack the price of the show up to the builders and the public. Now builders would come. The people would come to the show and be like, what the fuck? There ain't shit here, and I just paid $40 to get in here to look at the same leather and t-shirts. Amen, Brian. That's another thing. The Republic of Texas rally in Austin, Texas, ROT, the ROT rally. Probably one of my all-time favorite rallies to go to. Started out when I first started going there in 2005. That was my first year to go to ROT. When I went to that rally, I went there and I saw all the big builders. Name one, I promise you, they were there. When I went to that rally, the ticket to get in was $45, but they had everything you wanted right there. I mean, on the campgrounds. It was a huge convention center. Anyway, Travis County Expo Center is what it was. But anyway, so you would go there, and then at nighttime, you would leave there and go to 6th Street in Austin, and every major builder would have taken ownership of a club, and all their bikes would be sitting out. The clubs would be fucking packed just so you could get in there to take a picture and hang out and have a beer with the builders. It was so awesome to see Chino, Paul Cox, Billy Lane, Matt Hotz, Joe Martin, see all those guys walking 6th Street together, and then walk up to them, and every single one of those guys would stop, talk to you, take a picture with you, and fuck, if you had a ball cap or you had a t-shirt or something, they would autograph that. They didn't carry that shit on them, but if you had those things and you had a Sharpie, they would stop. They would give you the time of day to do that. Ross says rot sucks. Rot sucks now. I agree 100%. I stopped going in 2015 because I'd had enough. It was up to $135 in 2015 for the same thing, and it was a bunch of golf carts, and there were no builders there, and it just sucked. I didn't like it anymore. I take that back. There were like 4 or 5 builders on the main convention floor, but they had to be out of the sun. They had to be in air conditioning, and plus that place was locked up like Fort Knox at nighttime when everything shut down, so they knew all their bikes were going to be safe. But my whole point is that I miss it. I miss that. I miss it when you could go talk to builders and you were like, holy shit, dude, I saw you on TV, man. Or holy shit, I see these crazy bikes you're building. Like Jesse Rourke, I'll never forget. Right behind me, right behind the grind banner, I have pictures with Jesse. And I remember the first time I saw his bike, his style of build. And I freaked out because I was like, there's no way that's going to, why would you ever ride that on the freeway? Well, Jesse simply said, it's cool. You could do it. The way that he built that Schwinn bicycle bike was just badass. It was so, in my opinion, revolutionary. Not revolutionary. It just literally changed the face of motorcycles because now people could see, holy shit, I don't have to have this massive, bulky chopper. I can get a Schwinn bicycle from my childhood, man. And it was just so badass to see what he did. Then, you have, oh, Jesus Christ, what is his name? From Russell Mitchell from Exile. The way he built everything. I mean, hell, in 2019, I built a little Road King bagger styled off of his builds. And I built that bike for myself. And it just goes to show you what good styling is, because I built that bike myself in 30 days. Not even 30 days after I completed it and was riding it, I sold the damn thing for twice what I had in it because that style is so popular. That style just looked good. I don't know what to say about all these things. Daniel, that's not true. That's not 100% true, Daniel. If you've been to Galveston with Brian or with any of those other guys, they party, they drink, they stay out, they do it, and they fucking get up early. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. Anyway, I wish it would come back. I wish there was a way I could convince more builders to get into that mode, that mind frame, and realize, and I've been saying it for years, these builders are the ones that are fueling what everybody wants to do with their bikes. See, that's what I'm talking about, Dan. You're being proactive. You're actually fucking doing something about it. That's awesome. No offense, Dan. I knew you would. I almost expect things from you just because of that. But anyway, my whole point is that, with the stereo competitions, because that's the big draw now. You don't even have to have a fucking bike rally. You can have just a stereo competition, and that stereo competition is going to pull bikes. The only thing is, in my opinion, it's not pulling builders either. The builders are pulling up and having one bike, and that's the bike they run. You know what I mean? I don't know. I guess I just feel like if you could get certain builders and you could get certain promoters and you could get them together and get some of these uh, rally people together. So, are we partying in Galveston this year or what? Sure, why not? I mean, we're going to do it anyway, but we can verbalize it if you want, Brian. Uh, I just honestly believe it. If you do certain things, you can make certain people back to the way that they were. Yes, it's hot now. It is a bigger straw now. What? I'm lost. So, Ross, I'm working on that, but it's not that. It's not the world championship of bike building in Sturgis. I'm actually working on putting together a show that, anyway, I'm working on it and I'm working very hard on it, to be honest with you. Jesus Christ, Nancy, I never thought you would be the one to bring that up. And that didn't even got nothing to do with me. That was somebody else. Glow sticks involved in Texas. I love you, Nancy. Anyone ever been to the Garage Brood Show in Cincinnati, Ohio? Never even heard of it. But you can ask Brian Barber. He used to live in Ohio. He's probably heard of it. He said, "Hell no, send it." Um, see, Brian said yes. It's a good show. Um, but anyway, so to answer Keith's question, yes, I want to bring back the biker build off. And if Keith's down to being a biker build off, I'll put something together. We'll make that shit happen. Possibly Daytona, because at the time frame right now, the show between Galveston and the beginning of the year, there I don't think there is any shows. I think Galveston is the last show of the year, unless you've got what is that the Myrtle Beach Fall Rally, I think is the last one, and that's in October, I think. Well, Jamie, you have my number. Text me or message me or get a hold of me because that's a great show of builders. If you have never heard of it or been to it, you should look it up. It's a building full of talented builders. Oh, let's talk. It's a great fucking show. So there are some good shows out there that are nothing more than showcasing builders. Unfortunately, and I'm going to say this whether it gets me in trouble or not. Unfortunately, you don't have that in the bagger world. You just don't have it. What you have is audio shows in the bagger world. That's what you have. Uh, I wish I could change everything, but I mean, I can't change everything. But I've got ideas to do some shows and put the biker build off back on the page. But I do have an idea about doing uh, like a. I'm very hesitant to say master builders show because it's not a master's builder. You don't have to be a master to be a builder. You don't have to do that to be in the show. What I'm talking about is if you're familiar, and everybody in this chat is probably familiar with the Riddler. I want to put on a bike show that mirrors the Riddler. That this is how this works. One show, one big show, hopefully in Sturgis, and get doing 10 and 15 builders. And they have to submit a resume as to why they think they should be allowed to be in the show, and it doesn't cost them anything, but they only get that certain amount of time to build a bike. They're not going to get 2 years to build a bike. They're going to get, I would have to say, they're going to get an entire 7 months to build a bike from beginning to end, and then showcase it in Sturgis. Now, I have to find the money man behind that show. But I guarantee you, if I found the money man behind that show, then it would be pretty easy to put that thing on. Anyway, my whole point is I would love to see something like that happen to where there is one show that is the biggest show in the country, and that's the one that people are begging to get into. That's the one people are begging to be picked. You know, that one show draws so many people to look at what was actually built. Have you started that gas tank? Asking for a friend. No, I have not started that gas tank, Daniel Parrish. And you don't have any friends. So, oh, there's another iron in the fire, Brian Barber. Oh, wow. 6 months of no sleep. See, that's true. But if you're going to get into, better stock up on tires, Brian Barber, if you're going, oh my God, that's funny, Mickey. Um, but my whole point is that you, in order to do something like that, you would have to have it set up for, and like I said, there's so many things you'd have to do that I, I, you're either going to have it in Sturgis or you're going to have it in Daytona. Unfortunately, because the layout of the show circuit and everything, or the rally circuit, whatever you want to call it, it is what it is. If you start January 1st and go all the way to January 1st, and that's when you put your tools down, you got 1 year to build your bike, then you have to wait, what, 2.5 months to get to Daytona to unveil the bike. Um, it it's something that you would have to put together. And Tim, you're talking about having independent judges. Well, that's another one of the things that you'd have to think about is what kind of judging do you want when there's that much money involved? You know, I tried to do something in 2020 and I thought I did pretty fucking good. Got $25,000 in builders, 10 full builders, 5 of which didn't show up. One was disqualified. It's just, it is what it is, but somebody still walked away with, what was it, $17,500. One builder. And then the other builder walked away with $7,500. I mean, I thought I did pretty good for the first time ever trying to do something like that. That's what's got me inspired to want to do the big show once a year. And I want to make it an annual thing. And that's the one that's the one where everybody's begging to get into that show. But I don't want it to be just your big money builders. I want to make it to where, guys like Timothy Skates can get in on it. Guys like myself or my son could get in on it. Guys like your small shops that don't have all of the money and the recognition yet. I want to make it so that everybody can be included. And who knows, it may be up to 20 builders. I don't know. There's a group of people that I want to get involved with this if I can move forward with it and make that really happen. You have a great plan. It's definitely something the industry needs. It's definitely be a lot of work to pull off. Plus, everyone needs to back you. No egos, only good ass people trying to build it with you. Mickey, that's a very true statement. It's going to take a team to do this, and it's going to take people that actually believe, what, this could be something badass. That's why guys like Dan Juban is one of the people in my group, because Dan Juban thinks about shit like this with me every day, probably. But you still need the regular build offs. I agree, Dan. I still need those regular build offs. I also need to get my ass to New Hampshire, dang it, Laconia. That's where I need to go. I need to get that. I've got everything set up to go do that. I just haven't gotten there to do it. There's a bunch of things I want to do, like bringing back the original biker build off that I started in 2018. And we were kick ass, dude. We had 3, 6. Yeah, we had 6 biker build offs, and they were badass. Given annually to an exceptional vehicle that falls under strict, never been shown before guidelines, the folks who win this prize become members of a very elite group. See, Uncle Bruno, that's what I'm talking about. You need to get your poop in a group and make it happen, Kevin. You're right, I do. But it's like I said, it's going to take a group. It's going to take certain people in this industry that feel the same way I do to get together, come together, and make it happen. I've got a couple of people in mind that I want to get together, and people that don't have an ego against me, people that understand what I'm doing, that they have to align with the ideology of what I'm actually doing. I'm not trying to do something for me. I'm trying to do something for this industry so that hypothetically, you know for a fact when you go to Sturgis, that's the one show, even if you're not a part of, that's the show you want to go to because you know that motherfucker is going to have the cream of the crop. It's not going to have, even if it does have a stereo bike, you're not going to that show to see the stereo. You're going to see what the fuck they built. You're going to see what these bikes are. Because yes, you can go to an audio show somewhere. Yes, you can go to the Rat's Hole, the Full Throttle. You can go to all the different ones, the Broken Spoke, all that. But that one show, that's the one show that everybody is looking at. That's the one show that everybody's like, dude, I'm down with that motherfucker. And it wouldn't hurt my feelings if that prize money got up to $50K for one person. One person. I have an idea for your show or shows. Brian Barber, you even build, bro? I'm working on getting back to reality, Brian Barber. Hopefully, I can get back in the rig one day. Try going big, only to create a ton of stress and headaches going back to small business and enjoying it again. Right on. Well, cool. Anyway, so you guys know where I'm sitting at. Quick recap of the show for those that weren't here in the beginning. There's a whole lot of rules just to get into a stereo competition. There's about 4 or 5 major stereo competition, I don't even know what promoters, and they've all got different rules and regulations and shit. I wish I could get them guys together, work together, come up with one set of rules, no matter what part of the country you're in. Done. Second thing, lose your attitudes, lose your fucking headaches and all that bullshit. You're no better than anybody else, even though you're special. You're better. You're better than everybody else. Just you don't have to be such an ass about it. Stay humble, be thankful and appreciate the people that buy your stuff, whether it's a customer, whether it's a friend buying a t-shirt, be appreciative. Next thing, we need to get these builders back into the rallies and get these rallies going where people come see you guys. Get all the builders, that want to participate, that want to be going to the rallies, get them together, say, hey, look, let's just do this shit. Let's make it happen again. Let's be who we're supposed to be. Y'all feed this entire industry. Y'all feed this entire nation. Hell, I would bet that you guys are feeding other countries with what you guys are building. It's just time you stand back up and you take your place where you're supposed to be. Anyway, you guys go have a kick-ass night. It's hot as fuck up here. I'm surprised y'all can't see me sweating. I apologize, but this Texas heat's kicking my ass, man. I know it's worse everywhere else, and I'm not really whining, but I'm just saying where I'm sitting, it's hot. Appreciate it, and I look forward to the call tomorrow, Dan. Anyway, you guys go have a kick-ass night. Push the share button. I appreciate y'all. Have a great Thursday.